tell you. I think every human being will be happy, can attain happiness, if he can only identify what does God want from me. I'm going to be here for a limited amount of time. What does he want and what does he expect from me? Mm-hmm. I think we have to, in some sense, examine our talents, our innate talents, because that are God-given. I was born with these talents. And God wants me to use these talents for tikkun olam. We say it all the time, l'saken olam b'malchus Shaddai. We want to make a difference in the world. This is God's world. Milo chol ha'aretz kevodo. God is filled all over. This is his world. And when he created the world, isn't it Bereshit Chav Zayin? Every person is created in the image of God, and the image of God created he them. Male and female created he them simultaneously, right? And then he said, I'm giving you an admonition. I'm telling you what you're supposed to do. Milu et haaretz v'chibshuha. You have to conquer, fill up the world. That's where you get your idea that God didn't like homosexuals. Homosexuals.
Yeah.
Because that prevented the filling of the world.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not that it's for us to judge, but that's what God judges. That's what we say.
That's
God
how you
judges.
understand the spirit of homosexuality.
But the chibshuha, this world has to be conquered, and it has to produce the best.
What does it mean to conquer the world?
Man owns the world. It's my world.
It's my
world. That's what God gave me. And he said, I want to see how you treat my world, just like I want to see how you treat my people. Everybody. You talked about Pirkei Avot at one time. I don't remember when this was.
Right.
But the ethics of the fathers, has very deep teaching, which we too often ignore. I'll give you a small example. They ask, Schar mitzvah, what is the reward for doing good deeds? And what was their answer?
Another
mitzvah. No, mitzvah.
Mitzvah, yeah.
The best reward is to do good. You know why?
Makes you feel good when you do it.
Because you're doing good.
Yeah.
And the worst punishment for evil is the evil deed, because you're an evil person.
Yeah.
So this is important, that right there, and this is Mishnah, this is not Gemara, this is Mishnah, okay? And in the Mishnah, it says that the reward that you can anticipate for a good deed is not to win the lottery, right?
Right.
It doesn't say you're going to bet the right team. It says it's the good deed. And that, if I can only begin to feel that what I do is a reward, then I think I get my young people to understand they could be rewarded their whole life. The whole life is a reward. But find out where your talent lies. If some people, great music, to tell, what's his name?
Yitzchak Perlman.
Yeah. Tell Yitzchak Perlman.
I'm psychic.
Right. Tell Yitzchak Perlman he should have been a chazan. He should have been a rabbi. He should have been a brain surgeon. What a waste! Yitzchak Perlman.
He's like kissing God.
He knew what God gave him,
and he did it.
He used it, and what he has given in pure pleasure to the world is he has made God's world better.
Yes.
And then there's a man who's a rocket scientist. He makes God's world better. And there's a guy who's a brain surgeon. He makes God. And then there's a guy who's only a rabbi, and he can make every one of us. I think if we search out the talents we have and say, God gave me this, I'm to use it to not to play the stock market and not to excel in other areas, but this area that God gave me, that's my strength. And that's how I know God wants me, what I want to do, what God wants me to do.
When you really enjoy doing something, I love to write a song. I'm like close to God. When something comes out of the thin air and it's a decent song, I'm a fulfilled person. you know,
And
the
how
world,
many people?
and the world is magic.
How many people will you help with that? How many people who listen?
I think people are moved by it. The first person that's moved is me. You know, you have to love.
Right.
If you don't love it,
No. Well,
nobody.
you're wrong profession.
Right. You gotta love
missed it. You missed it. Can I talk to you about one
Yes,
experience
please. Oh,
that I
yeah.
consider perhaps one of the best experience of my whole life?
Thank you for reminding me. I do want to cue up this front page article that you were featured in, and please tell us about it.
New York Times, February.
February, what year?
I think it's 78.
Okay.
February 78.
Okay. Tell us about it.
I used to get the New York Times and read it before I went to shul in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I picked up the New York Times, and the article says that Anwar Sadat came to the UN
Mm-hmm.
to speak about peace with Israel, and the entire Arab delegation from all states walked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an idea. When Begin came to speak, he walked out. Right? When
So who walked out when Begin came?
Sadat, the whole Egyptian delegation walked out. When any Israeli ever spoke, the Egyptian delegation walked out along with all Arabs.
They still do, right? Or-
No,
Oh,
Egyptians.
not anymore. Yeah. Anyways.
I called the Egyptian embassy, and not the embassy, the ambassador to the United Nations, Esmat Magid. I called his office, and this is 9 o'clock in the morning. I get home from the minyan, I had my breakfast, I call his office, 9 o'clock, I figure he's in the office, and his secretary answers, and she says, who are you? And Rabbi Ehrenkranz, what do you want? I want to speak to Anwar Sadat. Why? I want to talk to him about the speech.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You pick up the phone and say you want to talk to
So
Sadat.
she you could hear her start to cry, cracked her voice. She said, I'm going to hang up on you, but I promise you, Dr. Magid will call you back within the hour. 9:30, phone rings. Esmat Magid, Dr. Magid, the Egyptian ambassador to the United Nations. He said, my secretary told me why you called. Would you like to come in and talk to me about it? I said, I sure would. He said, when can you come? I said, tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I was there. I spent 3 hours with him. And he said to me, I want you to come as Anwar Sadat's guest to meet with him in Cairo. I said, I accept. There's no problem. It was announced, they announced it, that a rabbi from the United States was coming to visit. I got tremendous pressure from the Rabbinical Council and from friends. Don't go, he's an anti-Semite. Okay. But I was determined. My nature is to try to look for opportunities and don't listen to advice unless you get advice from people who really know something more than you. Yeah. But these people read the same papers; they didn't know anything more than me.
Changed the zeitgeist. Yeah.
So I went, but I was concerned because one of my very best friends, who was then very high, if not the president of the Rabbinical Council, asked me not to go. And I told him I'm going anyway. But when I got there, and all eyes are on this meeting between Sadat and all the people that I brought, I said to him, many of my friends have said to me that it was inappropriate for me to come and make this visit to you since you've proven to be an enemy of the Jewish people.
Didn't you use the word anti-Semite?
I think I used the word enemy of the Jewish people. I didn't use anti-Semite.
Okay.
Right.
The difference. Okay.
He, he thought in Arabic and spoke English. So what he did is he had a pipe. He would light his pipe and with his thumb. You've seen pipe smokers. Take a few puffs. That gave him time to translate his Arabic into English. And he said to me, Rabbi Ehrenkranz, your friends are right. Wow, I was stunned. He said, let me tell you what I mean. I'm glad you're here.